This is your local election headquarters.
Welcome back. In Caddo Parish, history was made as the first black sheriff was elected, but that win wasn't without some controversy. It took 3 elections between Republican Jack Nicholson and Democrat Henry Whitehorn. The first race came down to a 1-vote margin that resulted in Whitehorn's win. However, Nicholson legally challenged the race, and it went to the state Supreme Court, who ruled a new election must take place. In the end, Whitehorn won the race by more than 4,200 votes. In East Baton Rouge Parish, a major upset as Mayor President Sharon Weston Broome had a stunning loss against Republican Sid Edwards. Now Edwards promises a new day in Baton Rouge.
Coach Sid Edwards is getting ready to take the reins as mayor president of East Baton Rouge Parish. He's wasting no time building his team and laying the groundwork for his administration.
And now the work begins. Okay, there's a lot of work to do. My platform was dealing with public safety, homelessness, and blight, but breaking the chains of divide in our city.
Speaking at the Chamber of Commerce of East Baton Rouge Parish, Edwards announced new appointments to his transition team.
You can already see it coming together.
Republican State Senator Rick Edmonds and political consultant Daryl Glasper will co-chair his team, and Councilman Darrell Hurst will serve as his community engagement chair.
If we just fix North Baton Rouge, we fix our entire city. We fix crime, we fix household median income, we fix education. And it's done through 3 things, which is employment, education, and entrepreneurship.
Meanwhile, Edwards says public safety will be a top priority as he steps into office.
Well, we're going to convene all law enforcement agencies, in the parish, and we're going to meet and we're going to talk about it. Of course, those are the experts. They know more than me, but I want to know the issues, what their struggles are, what they're lacking in support, and what the mayor's office can do for them. In
addition, he says he will meet with all law enforcement agencies in the next 2 weeks.
That the public feels safe. And of course, public safety falls under a lot of guys. It's just not police, your fire department, your EMS, Acadian, and all those folks. So that's what I ran on, and that is my number one A1 priority is public safety.
With a clear vision and a strong transition team, Coach Sid Edwards says he's ready to hit the ground running as East Baton Rouge Parish's next mayor president. In Baton Rouge, I'm Kayla Gaston.
After a letter from the federal government came down saying if the Mid-Barataria Sediment Diversion Project is not set to go forward, the state may have to return the money already awarded to it. Governor Jeff Landry said he is ready to sue the federal government over what he says is the state's money. Landry says the sediment should be dredged from the river and piped into the marsh instead. Coastal officials are frustrated over this move since the project was heavily researched on how to best use the sediment. But the fishing industry raised concerns about their livelihoods. And Louisiana celebrated a major investment in Richland Parish by social media and tech giant Meta. The company is building a $10 billion artificial intelligence data center in Rayville. The facility will be Meta's largest AI facility in the world, and the project will be one of the largest private capital investments in state history. Governor Landry says that Mark Zuckerberg feels the facility could change the world.
As Mark and I were discussing this project, I could hear the excitement in his voice. He was telling me about the potential that he believes that this site has on the AI framework, not only for the nation, but for the world. But I got to tell y'all what my response to him was. It was humble. Because I told him while I could appreciate how much he envisioned this changing the world, that he was changing the world the way I was taught, one step at a time. And that step starts right here in Richland Parish.
According to the governor's office, the project is expected to create 500 new jobs. Louisiana couldn't escape hurricane season without seeing Francine barrel through the state. While it was on the easier side of storms, it revealed some infrastructure weaknesses that communities want to see addressed. I'm here along Bayou Buff in northern Lafourche Parish, where people saw around 8 inches of water get into their homes during Hurricane Francine. And many of these folks are still rebuilding from Hurricane Ida 3 years ago. And a lot of them are voicing their frustrations with some of the flood mitigation infrastructure. Down Highway 307, several homes in Kramer are still sitting in water 2 days after Hurricane Francine moved through. They say after Hurricane Ida, the levee along the lake was raised, but now Bayou Buff is bringing water once again.
Of course, I've been living here for 75 years, and for Ida, I know we had the storm surge, which came from Lake des Allemands. But before that, the water really wouldn't get this far.
One family is ripping out floors again and is asking why things aren't changing. Clint Zarang says that his mother doesn't want to leave their generational home, even though she is tired of the damage.
She's frustrated, yeah. Yeah, for Ida, we had about 2 feet, and it wasn't as bad, but we had about still 4 or 5 inches throughout the whole house. So now we're ripping baseboards, flooring, all our bottom cabinets.
Families right next to the bayou say that the larger sandbags were not set up until the day after the storm, after mud had already rushed into their homes. Congressman Garrett Gray has traveled down the bayou to meet with folks to hear their infrastructure needs.
In Hurricane Ida, a couple that lived back here for 50 years, that they had 3 feet of water, 4 feet of water in their home, and they wouldn't leave because it was their home. And you've got to understand that that's how people view places like this. We've got to make investments, and I don't think it's going to take $1 billion to fix this.
He says the major investments in levees and flood control did work in other areas and saved billions in damages. But each storm reveals the weaknesses that have to be addressed. After the break, we take a look forward at some of the things we anticipate to take the spotlight in the new year.